Welcome back to the Better Every Day podcast, where we are unlocking our best self one episode at a time. My name is David Garcia, and this is my co-host and my wife and my life partner and my best friend, Grace Garcia.
Hey.
So last week we dissected her life a little bit. We got into the nitty gritty, somewhat into the core of some things. And I just want to ask you, in the last week, how did you deal with processing that? Or did you even think about it after? No, you didn't think about it. All right.
What?
I honestly thought you were going to think about it.
I can't talk?
No, you didn't think about it. Stop it. Okay, go tell him.
I don't think I thought about it deeply. Okay. I thought about it more than usual. And I was like, okay, I can't let my fear stop me. And so I decided I'm going to go through the motions of posting more, which is a step.
What's your goal?
I want 100,000 followers on TikTok.
Okay. Nice. I don't know if you saw, but somebody commented on the YouTube.
What'd they say?
It was something like that. They relate with what you said in regards to their business. That they got their business to a certain point and then they stopped seeing growth, like they plateaued, and that the person felt discouraged. But then hearing your story is like, I need to get back into it. So, told you. Somebody was going to connect with your story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So today is part 2 of that. If you guys don't remember, last week we were talking about the gap between the knowledge and the action. And just to throw down the foundation of this episode, I guess, we were talking about how many of us have the knowledge in regards to finances, in regards to health. Like right now we are in the age of knowledge, which means like wherever it is that you go, you can find knowledge on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, in books. Like there's like knowledge is at our fingertips, literally. So there's no way that we don't know at least something. And as the saying goes, with great power comes great responsibility. And we believe that knowledge is power. So the moment that you have the knowledge, that there is a responsibility bestowed upon you for you to do something with that knowledge, right? So again, it could be in finances, it could be in health, it could be in longevity, it can be in relationships, it can be in business, it can be in what else? That's all I can think of right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're in the age of knowledge, and it's one thing for you to have the knowledge, and maybe you know somebody, or maybe you are this person that the moment you hear somebody speak about something, you go, oh, I know, and you start, throwing out all this knowledge. And usually people don't do this, but if the people that you're starting to tell this knowledge to were to turn around and say, oh, what have you done with this knowledge? A lot of times the people that are quick to speak are usually the ones that haven't really done anything. And then that's why there's some people that say, be careful who you listen to, because some of the people that are giving you that knowledge haven't even done anything with it, right? And so there is a gap between the knowledge and the action. And what we were discussing last week is, why is there that gap? And what's in that gap? What is stopping us from getting from knowledge to action? Last week I was talking about, my thing with sweets and trying to be disciplined. Like I'm trying to lose some weight because while I got this injury, I kind of slacked off, and my wife loves to brag about how disciplined I am, but I mean, I'm not as disciplined as she portrays me out to be. I'm not at 100%. When I lock in, but I'm not locked in 24/7. Like that is very, very hard. It's not impossible, but it is very, very hard. And so in the time where I was having my injury, I try not to let things get to me, but whether you like it or not, your wall starts to chip a little bit with things like an injury and stuff. And so I wasn't eating as great. I wasn't really watching what I was eating. I wasn't, I was kind of just eating whatever, especially on the weekend. You guys probably relate. Like You can be locked in Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday hit, and you're just like, oh, I don't feel like cooking. I don't feel like weighing. I don't feel like doing nothing. Like, let me just eat out. And usually it's Saturday and Sunday, sometimes Friday as well, that really kill all the gains health-wise. Because, no, you don't think so?
Not for me.
For a lot of people. You have different genetics. I mean, everyone looks at you and they get mad at you because whoever knows you knows that you don't eat all that like perfectly well. And they're like, you don't gain weight. So like you're in an anomaly. But for most people, locked in Monday through Friday afternoon, Friday night comes around, you start eating bad Saturday, Sunday, and all the gains, all the health-wise gains that you got from Monday to Friday, all gone in one weekend. I'm definitely that person. We were talking about it last week where I can be locked in Monday to Friday. I'm like, my weight is declining because I weigh myself every single day. And then it doesn't even take a whole weekend. It takes one meal for me to like jump up like 3-4 pounds. And then I lose a week basically.
That's crazy.
It happened like 2 weeks ago or a week ago or 2 weeks ago. We went out to eat, and in that just one meal, I lost a whole week, and I had to work back to get where I was. So I lost a whole week. Anyways, but the point is that you can't outrun a bad diet. But I struggle sometimes with, even when I'm locked in, like I struggle with like cravings, and I struggle like, seeing donuts at work and stuff like that. And the knowledge tells me, I know that I need to be locked in 24/7. I know that the benefits, the health benefits of me being locked in are greater than the satisfaction I'm going to get from one donut. And especially me wanting to be locked in. And if I were to get that donut, like it ruins my like mental, it just makes me want to throw everything away. Like I've failed, I screwed up. And so the question is, why is it that we give in sometimes? Why is it that we don't do what we believe is right? And another example that came to mind was in a relationship. How many of us, I'm assuming a lot of us, have been in relationships, if not all of us, and how many times, and that could be like a couple's relationship, that could be a relationship between siblings, that could be a relationship between like father and son, child, parents, aunties, whatever relationship, friends. How many times have we been in a moment of anger between a relationship and we don't do what we know is right? Right? Like if I were to ask you, like, what's the right thing to do when you're mad, let's say at me, what's the right thing to do?
To regulate my emotions. So if I'm flooded, take a deep breath, like, I need my space, I'll come back and go. Nice.
Very beautiful. And what do you usually do?
I do just that. It depends on my mood. Sometimes I'm over and I'm like, okay, I'm done with this conversation.
So you stonewall?
Yeah, but I let you know I'm done with this conversation.
Okay. And then sometimes
I just like let you hear my brain.
Your brain? That's what you want to call it? Okay.
What do you want to call it?
No. We'll call it your brain.
I give you a piece of my mind.
Yes.
That's like my brain.
And I mean, I'm not trying to point it at you. Like I'm there too, right? Like there's times. I mean, me and you have gone through therapy. We've gone through couples therapy, and I mean, we've been taught the steps. Not only have we been taught the steps, but we've had to walk through these steps while the mediator or the counselor is right there in front of us. And we have to make sure that we're doing it right. And she'll let us know, like, yes, that's right. Okay, no, like, here's where you can do better. Let's dig deeper or whatever. And so we know the things. Like, you love to practice the 4 horsemen. So identifying like, oh, you're being contemptuous or whatever. And there's times where like, I don't care what I'm being like. I'm telling you the truth. Right? Like obviously in that moment, you are trying to like get me to react, and like basically in between the lines, you're telling me act on the knowledge that we have, act on the wisdom that we have. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I'm like, no. Like I'm too far gone. Like my emotions are running wild. Like I'm just gonna give it to you straight. I'm get this off my chest, and then I think I'll be at peace or whatever. And so like that's also an instant. Like, why in those moments do I not take the knowledge that I have, the knowledge that I know and that is proven to work and to help a relationship be healthy, but I don't do it?
That's a good question. Why don't you?
Why don't I? So in this case, because last week we named some stuff, right? We named some of the reasons why we don't, bridge the gap. And last week we talked about fear. And then the other parts of the list are addiction to comfort and instant gratification, lack of clear vision, identity conflict, lack of self-dominion, environment and influence, hidden shame, guilt cycle, pride, not asking for help.
That's a lot.
Now, the cool thing is that you're not a therapist, so you're not going to be able to dig that deep into this. So like, but in those moments, I would say I lose my self-dominion 100%. First,
but you're conscious of it. Like,
I think I am partly conscious to it. Like, is there a moment where I'm realizing like, yes, like this is probably not the way to do it? 100%. But in that moment, I go from discipline to 100% emotional. And that's the crazy thing. And that's the thing that, we've taught through the Financial Freedom Tribe group. Like, if we solely depend on our feelings are very treacherous. Like, our feelings in the moment could lead us to feeling good in an instant of a moment. But right after that instant of like gratification, like, you probably regret what you just did. Like, in the moments where I'm like, no, just forget about it. Like, I'm going to tell you the truth and Like, I'm basically saying like, screw all the health stuff, screw all the right ways to do it. Like, I'm over it. Well, I'm not even over it. Like, I didn't even like want to be like under it or whatever. Like, I didn't want to do it. And I'm just like, here, I'm going to just give you a piece of my mind. And so yeah, I lose my self-dominion. I think it's obviously pride. Maybe it could also be because in those moments where you're told to like slow down in these like conflicts, I think me and you, I might be projecting because I might be putting this on you too, just to like make myself feel better or whatever. But maybe you're there too. Us being told to be like slow down, I think triggers a fear of, if I slow down, I won't be heard. Mm-hmm. And then maybe that comes from like a feeling of like, I constantly feel like I'm not heard, or like my feelings don't matter, or like what I have to say doesn't matter. Right. Because sometimes in the dynamics between a man and a wife, especially in the times that we've been living in, like the women's voice is very, very loud. And so us men, I feel like, have had their voices diminished a bit. And so, yeah, like I think there's times where like the pride kicks in, just like, you're a man, say what you got to say, get it off your chest. Like, if you don't say it this way, like you won't be heard anyways. Like, so I think there's a little bit of fear also of like, okay, if I don't slow down, or if I slow down, she's just going to overpower me. And like, I think it's the fear of, if we go through this route, I have a fear that A, I'm going to lose. B, my feelings are just going to be invalid. Like, it's just like, okay, whatever. Like, you're wrong. Your feelings don't matter. Like, it's all about Grace. It's all about the wife. Like, what she feels is a lot more powerful than what you feel. So die to yourself. And just like, there's that fear, like of like, what? Like, I'm not going to get hurt, so I might as well just spill it out right now.
And there's no thought of like, because I just hear you and me, you and me, you and me. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no thought about like how you brought it last time when you were dissecting me. You brought up like, where's your trust in God in this process?
To be honest, I mean, I think my generic kind of answer is like, oh, I trust God. I just sometimes have a hard time trusting you that you'll actually take the time to hear me. Because I mean, like, I could trust God, but you still have free will and you could do whatever the heck you want. So like
Yeah, but surrendering me or your frustrations to God, knowing that he loves you and he cares for you.
Okay, walk me through what that looks like.
So you can't change me.
Okay.
Right? And that's part of your, like, what I heard you say was you need to get it out because you don't trust that I care enough to, like, circle back to your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, in, I guess, a healthy way, or maybe I should ask you, like, what is a healthy way instead of just getting it out the way you did with no dominion? How would that look like?
Wait, you just completely sidestepped my question that I told you. What does it look like to surrender? Like you just told me like, oh, why don't you just surrender to God? So just walk first before I answer your question, answer mine because I'm starting to feel like you don't know how to answer my question and you're trying to like.
But I feel like I want you to answer.
Do the switcheroo.
I want you to answer the question.
No, answer mine first.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I want you to answer the question you gave me. Like I feel like you can answer it by me leading you there. Does that make sense?
How about you answer it?
No, because then we're gonna remove the like conversation.
Just be honest with me. Do you have an answer? Or
yes.
No? Okay. All right. Okay. Walk me through it then. Walk me through it.
Okay.
Let me see.
So, how would a healthy, like, what would that look like healthy? Because right now you're saying you let go of self-dominion when you're heated up, like your feelings are overpowering, and there's this fear of like, I have to get it out now, or else we're not going to circle back. She's not going to hear me, right? Okay, which is obviously unhealthy. So what does that look like in a healthy way?
What does that conflict look like in a healthy way? In my head, is doing the speaker listener.
So just having the conversation.
Having the conversation in a speaker listener fashion. That is with zero emotions and 100% discipline. It is a lot easier said than done. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about the speaker listener. I believe we've talked about it before, but a very quick, brief description is basically we're talking about our feelings. We're having a discussion. I say what I'm feeling, and her job is to not respond, but to repeat what I said back and ask me if that is correct. So, for example, right now I just said like there's times where I don't feel heard. There's times where I fear that I won't be heard. And then so like let's say I say that, and then her job is to be like, okay, so what I heard you say is that in times of conflict, you feel like you are not heard a lot of times. Is that correct? And I would go, yes, that is correct. So then that's basically you slowing down. You're not responding. You are now taking the time to listen to me and you repeat it back and making sure that you understood what I said. And it goes back and forth. That's speaker listener.
And which we showed already on this. Like we're doing it on this podcast. It's easier to do it on a podcast.
Yes.
But the speaker listener would be like your healthy scenario. That's if both people are on the same page.
Yes.
Okay. Let's say that I'm not understanding you. And maybe like you lose patience or whatever, or like I'm heated up too. And so the speaker listener, for whatever reason, your part or my part, like it's not flowing. Then what does that look like?
Looks like you're doomed.
Looks like you just detonate again and you're like, screw this.
Again, we go back to the main point of this episode, of this topic. Why is it that both of us have the knowledge, and in that scenario, the second scenario that you're saying, one of us isn't getting it, or both of us aren't getting it? Like me and you have the knowledge. We've gone to therapy. We've done all the steps. We know what to do. We choose not to do it when we know we should be doing it. Why?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Well, do you want me to circle back to answering that question? What does surrendering look like?
Yeah. Answer the question.
Because I feel like I've done this a lot with you.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier in our marriage, you're very hard-headed.
Yeah.
And there'd be times where what you're explaining, I'd feel of, I don't know if, well, and then before we went to therapy, there was really no trust built. And so I didn't know if you loved me. Like, I wasn't sure.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was afraid that your love, like, wasn't enough. And so I feel like I had to do a lot of, like, the surrendering, which is a lot of the times I chose the unhealthy, like, arguments and stuff. But then there'd be a point where I was like, okay, do I argue to the point of, like, hurting each other? Because I knew it was going to hurt you, but it was also going to hurt me. And hoping that, like, we hit rock bottom and that causes change. Or do I surrender it? Which for me looks like not bringing it up until, like, I ask the Holy Spirit for, like, moments where I'm not forcing it so that you can have a more open demeanor and, like, praying about you, but also asking God to change me, that knowing maybe I might be part of the issue. And so it was like trust that God was going to work in your heart and my heart, like he's working in both of us separately, and trust that he will provide an opportunity. We still have to do the work. Like, there's going to be a space though where I can vocalize it and it'll be like a healthy conversation because we're both, like, ready to listen. Trusting that, like, you might not, I'm putting myself in the opinion of, like, you're not ready to hear the conversation or whatever, or, like, you're defensive, but trusting that, like, you might not care enough to circle back to it, but, like, God cares enough for me to circle back to it and have that closure and, like, put a pin in it because he knows, like, my heart is damaged or, like, it's something important.
So basically what you're saying is, in the moments of where you feel like emotions are running wild, they're overflowing, you kind of hold your tongue, you hold your silence, and you know that there's nothing good going to come from a very heated or emotional conversation. And so you would rather die to those emotions and be patient and believe that God is going to do something in that situation.
Yes, take it to him. Not be patient, like, do nothing about it,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, be patient in praying for you and praying for God to change my heart or show me anything that I might be doing wrong.
Okay. How many times have you done that?
Oh.
And how many times have you seen God come through on that?
A lot of times.
Give one example. Just because, I mean, one of the hardest things to do is to feel such frustration about a certain situation, especially in a marriage and in like a couple's relationship. Mm-hmm. It's so hard to feel such frustration, sadness, bitterness, like contempt. Like it's so hard to feel all these feelings, and like your go-to response is, I need to fight for, like, my feelings, my heart. I need to fight for the situation. I need to fight for what I know is right. What's happening right now is not right. And it's one of the hardest things to hold your tongue on all that and surrender that to God and just be like, I'm going to pray. I'm not going to speak because I know if I speak, fireworks are going to go off and in the worst way possible. So I'd rather hold my tongue and allow you, God, to do what you got to do, and I'll be patiently waiting here for you to do something.
I feel like obviously there's been times in our marriage where I, like, choose to fight, and we've seen, like, what happens.
Yeah.
But I feel like I am pretty good at this because I've done it a lot, and God has shown up in ways where I'm like, God, only you. So, like, kind of like the quote unquote dumb examples is David was really addicted to this, like, stupid farm game. Like, I don't even know what it is called.
Oh, you tell everybody this story. Okay.
It's a good example.
Yeah.
Like, I hated it. Mm-hmm. And I told you I hated it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't argue with you about it. Mm-hmm. I just, like, was like, this is something that I'm not going to be able to win. And I remember it was like an addiction. Like you were on it all the time, like messaging, chats, whatever. And then just one day it was like not a big deal. We just stopped all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's a good example?
Yeah. Yeah. What else you got?
The Yu-Gi-Oh! Similar.
Okay. What else you got?
The therapy. I wanted you to go to therapy so bad, and it like hurt me because my counselor, like our marriage wasn't good, and I went to individual therapy, and she would always bring up like, it looks like you guys need marriage counseling, but I know it was like a touchy subject, but every time she brought it up, like it would hurt me because I'm like, you don't like you just think I haven't thought of that or something, and so I just like prayed and was like, God, I want it to be his idea. I want him to take the initiative. Like I don't want to like force him and make it seem like, you know. And yeah, I think it was like your idea when you wanted to do couples therapy.
Those are good examples. And I'm glad that you brought that up because before you said those examples, what I see in this situation, what I'm glad that we're talking about this is what you're saying is that there are times to speak with your spouse about it.
Mm-hmm.
You are not saying hold your tongue on everything regardless, like, and just wait on God. There are times to speak. There are times to work things out. And there are times where you not in a way like give up, but you're kind of like, hey, me and him or me and her are not going to be able to work this out. So now it's time. Like, I'm not going to give up on this relationship. I'm not going to give up on this marriage. I believe that God's doing something.
Mm-hmm.
So now is the time where I'm going to hold my tongue and I'm going to wait patiently on the Lord.
Yeah.
And I think that's great to hear because, I mean, there's some people, like, there's different personalities and characteristics. And, there's some people that are just like, no, we're not, the Bible says we're not going to sleep angry or whatever. So we got to work this out. And those are the people that like, they can't let an issue go.
Yeah.
They'll hold it until they feel like it's worked out. And sometimes those people end up frustrating their spouse or their better half or their boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever. Those are the people that frustrate them to the point where they just go, whatever. Yeah, fine. I'm just going to tell you exactly what you want to hear because I'm so done with this. Mm-hmm. Right? And so we go back to, and then that's hard too because it's just like, how do you know when to do what? Right? But my point is, I love that you're giving these examples because you are showing that in times where you felt like maybe you wanted to keep swinging and keep fighting, you're just like, no, like you're wise enough to be like, it's not going to get us anywhere. Like, I just have to be patient. I have to wait. And I feel like a lot of who I am is because of what you've done. And like, I think about many marriages where the wife is like, and this is from a stance of a man, so like a little bit biased, obviously, but where women are just like, no, I'm not gonna let it go. I'm not gonna let it go. I'm gonna bug him, and until the dude just explodes and just like, I can't deal with this anymore. And it takes a wise woman, and if I remember correctly, it's part of like the Proverbs 31 woman, right? Like there's one part in there that's just like, don't be the wife that like, what's the word that I'm looking for? It says like, don't be the wife that like, basically just nags. Yeah.
I think it's in Proverbs. It's not Proverbs 31, but it's in Proverbs.
Yeah. It's like, don't be the wife that like nags and just like, just frustrates her spouse or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, there's a time to be silent. There's a time to trust God that he's going to do something. And, yeah, I think that's so important. Like, and that shows that you have had those moments where whether you had the knowledge or not, or you just felt like, I need to do this. Like you chose to do something against, I guess, the will of your feelings. Because the will of your feelings probably wanted to fight or whatever, wanted to have a discussion or whatever. But yeah, that's really awesome. So it is possible, people.
It is.
To have the knowledge and to choose wisdom or whatever, but it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. And like, I mean, in the dynamic of a man and a wife, like, I mean, no man loves to be in a nagging relationship. Mm-hmm. And a lot of men aren't wise enough to, at the very least, hear the words between the lines of nagging. Because a lot of times a woman, and we've talked about this, like sometimes when she nags, it's because she's basically saying in between the lines, I see better for you. I know that there's greater in you. I know that you could do better. Like you're better than this. But a lot of guys, we don't really take the time to slow down and like listen. It's like, okay, like I get it. Like I need to do better. That's all she wants is for me to be better. That she believes in me that I could do better, right?
Yeah. And I do want to like reiterate that the woman doing that is not a passive, because I also see women on the extreme where they're done nagging, or maybe they just aren't natural naggers. But then how you said they kind of like give up, or they quote unquote can surrender it to God, but then they get hurt because they don't see change. And so they haven't been guarding their heart, and they allow like the man not changing, like hurt her heart or bring despair. And that is also like a slippery slope. So you don't want to be like the nagging wife where you feel like I'm doing action, but you don't want to be the one where it's like, it's just all faith and you become so passive.
Yeah. I hope I posted it today. No, I didn't. It's gone. As you were speaking, something came to mind. Because we obviously want to get to a point of conclusion of like, okay, these are all the things why we don't do it. How do we like get to a point where we can do it? And like I was thinking about, how did you get to a point where you could hold your tongue and you could be in silence and you could wait on the Lord or whatever? And I think about like, and we were given an example about couples, right? That's a very like hard subject for a lot of people, like especially when you're heated, you're mad, your vulnerability is involved, your heart is involved, your future is involved. So you want to like fight for it, right? But like in other scenarios, like let's say for shopping or for finances, people get things that they know that they shouldn't be getting. Like there's better ahead if they would just stick to a plan, right? But we just like get triggered, like FOMO, like I need to go to the vacation, I need to go to the concert, I need to go to this event, I need to hang out with those people that I feel like are influential, whatever. I need to spend money or whatever. I need to look a certain way. The health thing, like for every single thing. And the thing that came to mind while you were speaking is, what is the difference between you giving into your feelings and being like, no, we're going to fight right now and we're going to work this out, quote unquote, right now. And the difference between that and the you that I'm going to stay in silence and I'm going to trust in the Lord. And it's just that. When you give into your emotions, whether that's in finances, in relationships, in like your vision, your dreams, like the things that we were talking about last week in regards to social media, when you give into your emotions, I believe that is an indicator that you want to take control into your own hands. You want to kind of remove God out of it, whether it is that you don't trust God, that he's going to do something in it, whether you're like, maybe you have the thought of me, like, I trust God, but I mean, I don't fully trust this person that's standing in front of me and they have free will, so they can do whatever the heck they want. So I need to fight for this right now. Like, I feel like there is a push inside of us that says, take control into your own hands. And maybe it goes back to the whole Adam and Eve thing. Like, it's like, oh, I want that. And the serpent comes like, you can have it if you want. And then they take matters into their own hand instead of trusting God, right? And like, I think about those people about finances. It's just like, why do you always give in to those things? And could it be that the core of the answer is, I don't really trust God that I'm going to be able to lock in and I'm going to see everything that this discipline is promising me, that this knowledge is promised me. I don't believe it. It's too far away. It's too big of a mountain, whatever. Like, yeah. I'd rather feel what I want to feel now and deal with the consequences later than to fully trust God. And I guess at the beginning feel like I'm suffering, because I'm assuming that in the moments that you were silent, like it wasn't that easy for you. It wasn't just like, oh, like I'm just going to stay silent. It's all good. Like there was probably times where you were triggered and you're just like, oh, I want to say something so bad, but I know nothing's going to good come from it, but I'm so triggered right now, right? You always have that decision. And I believe the difference between the decision of you giving into those emotions and fighting and you trusting God is that simple fact is you trusted God. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know how long it'll take, whatever, but I believe that what I believe is right, like it's in your hands, like it's going to happen one way or another. And the amazing thing is that you have the testimony that to prove that there are many times in your life and our life where you surrendered that to God, you trusted God, and He came through. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, there, like, and again, I attribute a lot of where I am as a person and our relationship is as a couple to that. Because, I mean, the other thing that I think about is the generosity part. You used to complain like, oh, you're not generous, you don't hear me, blah, blah, blah. We did the work, and even right after we did the work, like it was a struggle a little bit, and we'd kind of like call each other out. How come you're not doing this? How come you're not doing that? And it took a while. And little by little, as we've been planting seeds and harvesting, like these things are starting to flourish. And yeah, like I feel like a lot of where we are as a couple and me as a person and you as a person has been because you have chosen to trust God through the process. And in the same way, we can be living testimonies in regards to the finance part because we trusted God, because we trusted the process that He was putting us through, because we were sticking to the discipline and the knowledge that's actually in the Bible in regards to finances, that we have teachers around us teaching us as well. Like that it's just like again, knowledge is at our fingertips. So there's no way that you can say like, oh, nobody ever taught me. Like you could easily quote unquote teach yourself, but like learn through other people or whatever easily. And so we chose to trust God through that process and say, we believe we'll be debt free. We'll believe that we'll be able to live the life that we believe God has purpose for us. We believe that we're going to set up our children for the future. We believe that we're going to do all the right things, and it's going to feel like sort of quote unquote suffering in the beginning, but it's just the reason why you feel like you're suffering at the beginning of discipline is because you're dying to your old self. And the new self is being born. And that actually makes me like really happy because I remember when you first gave birth to Elijah, you used to love using the metaphor of birth for everything. And right now that just clicked with me. Like you suffer at the beginning of you're making the decision to do things the right way, the disciplined way, the God way. You suffer at the beginning because you're dying to your old self, and there's still the birthing pain of your new self being born.
That's a word.
That's a word. Yeah, I thought about Jesse and Melody. But yeah, like it feels like pain. But one thing that I've learned is love. What you love is what you're willing to suffer for. And some people say, like, I love my kids. Like, are you willing to suffer them? I love my wife. Are you willing to suffer for her? Like, I love the purpose that God has for me. Are you willing to suffer for it?
So, in all of this, would you say that then the basis, a huge part of the gap, or maybe the only basis, like you listed a lot of things, right? It could be fear, comfort, laziness, whatever. But do you think it all can be summarized into a lack of trusting God and putting yourself before others?
Yes.
Right? Because in that, like the example you used of like, okay, I know what to do when I have a conversation with my wife, but then I don't, right? You're kind of saying like, God, I don't trust that we're going to circle back to this. And so I want to feel this in this moment. You're not thinking about me at the moment. You're not thinking about...
Yeah, you're thinking completely just about yourself.
So then the antidote would be to let God in. And as soon as you let God in, like He shifts your focus on like what matters. Whether that's like your wife or your kids or your future or whatever it is.
And that is not easy. Again, it's that in itself is a process. Like it's easy for us, like, and I don't want to make it sound easy. It's easy for us to be like, oh, just trust God. Oh, just like lock in right in that moment of emotional heat. Just take a split second and think about God and think about what you really want to see in your relationship. Think about the love that you have for your spouse, whatever. Like, just think about that and then just lock in. Like, it's a lot easier said than done. That is one of the hardest things that you could do. Go ahead.
Or how you said, like in the beginning when you were like, what does that look like? Because like sometimes we're so used to that phrase. If you were like raised in the church or you just hear like, trust God. So you're like, yes, I need to. But the people haven't stopped to say how you asked, like, what does that look like in that conversation? Like, what does that look like? And so we could be like, no, I trust God. But then we have no idea how that plays out and be like, oh, if I trust God, would I act like this or would I act like this?
There's that. And also, I think before you get to the moments of where the emotions are running high, whether that's in relationship, whether that's in the finances, whether that's in health, whatever area of your life, you should be planting seeds before you get to those moments. Meaning, like, you can't wait for those moments and think like, hopefully this time I'll be able to lock in. And then you fail and it's just like, okay, hopefully next time. Like, what are you doing to plant seeds of who you want to be in those moments? Right? Like, for example, like if we wanted to be better, obviously we went to couples counseling. That's a seed. Not only that, but like waking up, and I used to have a note that popped up every morning at 7 a.m. Sometimes I'll read it, sometimes no, and it makes you smile because you used to see it, right? But like have notes and reminders of like, who is it that you want to be in this life? And like that at least is like programming you, hopefully, at least like visually seeing it, reading it, hopefully you accepting it, that is planting a seed. You having moments of prayer, let's say for the relationship together, that's planting a seed. Having moments of prayer on your own and praying for that you want to be changed and transformed, that's planting a seed. Like, what are you doing to plant seeds for when you get to those moments? Like, it's crazy. And hopefully if you guys have ever experienced it, like you'll understand me. When you plant the seeds, you get to a point where you get to a moment that usually will trigger you. And for whatever reason, you're just like, I feel completely fine right now. And I can make the right choices. For example, not to toot my own horn, but for whatever reason, there have been times where I can, again, for whatever reason, I believe planting seeds. There are moments where me and you like are in a texting war for a second. And for whatever reason, like something snaps at me and just like, what are we doing? And like, and those are moments that are perfect for the scenario that you said. Like, what if one person is in and the other person is not in? And there's like those moments, like you'll say things to me that like you will usually trigger me. And I'm just like, no, I'm not going to give into this. And in the moment you might feel like, oh, it's like, it's against you. Like he thinks that he's better than me or whatever. But it's not that. In those moments, I feel like that's when all the seeds are like harvesting, like are blooming or whatever. Like they're flourishing. Just like I feel this peace where I'm like, I don't have to give into this. Like I know that if I give into this, things are just gonna spiral completely out of control. And sometimes you spiral out of control all by yourself. But it's just like, okay, like she's at the end of it when like the heat is done, she'll know that I did not give into it. She'll know that, well, hopefully, I hope she knows that I loved her enough to not give into my usual toxicity, that I didn't go into my usual like name calling or like saying this and that or whatever. Like, I hope that she can see that. But even if she doesn't, I'm like, I know that there's something that is transforming and changing inside of me, inside of my heart, my mind, my soul, my spirit, where just like, I'm not the same me that I was before. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I hope some of you guys have experienced that. Like when you plant those seeds and you get to those moments where it's like, I used to be triggered and now I'm not, like, that's when you know, like, oh, there's something inside of me like that's happening. Like God is working. Like those are moments where you literally can say God is working. God is doing something. Like, because if it was up to me, I'd be out here swinging. I'd be out here giving into my emotions and just because a lot of times, especially in fights, like let's be honest, we want to feel the satisfaction of making the other person feel more terrible than you feel. That's usually what a fight is. Just like, how do I make you feel worse than how I feel, how you made me feel?
Yeah.
And it's like, and especially if you're going against the Salvadorian, like that's the only thought the Salvadorians have in their head. Like, nah, you're not going to beat me in this. Like it's a game to them, like a war. Mm-hmm. Just like, you're not going to make me feel worse than I made you feel. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I think trust in God, planting those seeds, like I think those are ways that you can get to a point where you really want to be. And yeah, I think you're right with a lot of times that we give into whatever it is that we're giving into, where we lose focus on the love for anybody else and we're only worried about ourselves. We lose focus on the love for God. We lose focus on the love for our spouse, our families. Like, and I'm talking again, health-wise, marital-wise, finance-wise, like any area of your life. Like when you give into your emotions, it's like, oh, everything else is dead. The only thing that I'm worried about is myself.
Yeah.
And right now it gets like twisted and stuff because obviously, you know, oh, the mental health and like looking out for your sanity and doing it for your mental health and blah, 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 blah. And just like, okay, there's some validity to that, but the pendulum can't swing so much this way where it's just like, it's all about you and none about anybody else. Because especially if we're Christian, that can never be our life. Our life is meant to be for other people, to bless other people, to love other people, to help other people. Like our life was meant to be more than just us. So, yeah, I think
we got to the bottom of it.
I think we did it.
We cracked the code.
Yes.
Why do people not do what they know what to do?
Yes, and it comes down to all those things that we said: the lack of trust in God, the just self-centeredness, and the best thing that we can do is fight against that, because that's not a life that we want to live. That's not going to be a life that's fulfilling. That's not going to be a life that we're proud of. That's not going to be a life where that's not a life that we're going to find real joy and real love in. So yeah, we did it.
We did.
How do you feel?
Feels good.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Great. I think this was a great one. Yeah, I hope that you guys are as content as we are. I think this was another great conversation. I really loved the last episode and this episode. Yeah, a lot of contentment, a lot of joy. Appreciate you, and I love you, and I appreciate and I'm grateful for all the decisions that you've made throughout our 10 years of marriage. And again, I attribute a lot of where we are now to the decisions and the trust that you put in God.
Anytime, babe. Anytime.
All right, and that concludes this episode of the Better Everyday Podcast, where we are becoming our best self, one episode at a time, and one day at a time. So we hope that you can take this episode, take the last episode, reflect on it, meditate on it, meditate in areas of your life where you can come to the conclusion where you're lacking in trust in God, where you feel like you're worrying more about yourself than you are anybody else. And like Grace said, just surrender to God, believe that He's going to do something. And I mean, I hope that her testimonies, her examples, have been able to stir up faith and hope in you. And we're hoping and believing that you will also have very similar stories where you say, I trusted God in this and it took X amount of time, but regardless of the time that it took, the wait was worth it. And it truly paid off to trust God and love love more than just myself. So now we say that we love you. We appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to this episode. We hope that it's a blessing to you, and we will see you guys on the next one. Bye.